I'm Jalen Lopez with Dot Esports, talking with ShahZaM after their win against FaZe. Let's start off with just how you're feeling after that win, man.
Really happy. It's just incredible how we've come together and made another grand finals, despite all the situations we faced before these big tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, preparing for this series against FaZe, did your preparation change at all based on their really aggressive playstyle, or was it kind of just focusing on your own game?
No, I just do the usual prep that I do for every team. I break down the veto, I break down the maps we're gonna play, look at like their essential tendencies and come up with a game plan of like, the stuff that we do that'll work and the stuff that won't.
Hmm.
Um, I it's same prep for every team. FaZe's aggression is obviously there, but I think as a team they were a little overhyped because of the one in Challengers 3, which didn't include four teams that qualified before. And then, the big upset one versus Envy. I rewatched the game versus Envy. It felt more like Envy made a lot of sloppy mistakes and FaZe really tactically outplaying them. And so I had a really comfortable read on them the whole series.
Got it. Okay, so building off of that, you think FaZe's success is more of capitalizing on mistakes rather than an effective gameplay style?
Yeah, they're more of a brute force into a site, get in your face, take duels that you might not expect, and disrupt any um, crossfire coordination you might have. Um, but I think that like from watching all the teams and prepping that we play, they're definitely tactically a lot weaker.
Hmm.
Just really, really talented players that are able to get away with that. So it is scary for teams that don't have a game plan versus that. But when you understand how it's kind of simple the way they approach rounds, then you can really set up for it.
Okay. Now, did this match go expected? Excuse me. Based on your research, or was it kind of a surprise to get that 2-0?
Honestly expected. I think Haven was closer than it should have been too. We threw some rounds. I honestly expected to destroy them. Um, when we prep for teams, I knew that these guys were like we can match up on the aim battles, and
Hmm.
then strategically we could definitely outplay them. So it's like the previous matchups before. We would just play our game versus them, and we would always win. Not to knock on them at all, but when you learn how to play against the style, it becomes really comfortable.
Got it. Okay. Now, speaking of their style, do you think it's actually sustainable in the long run, or do you think it's going to phase out or fizzle out based on after a few matches against people have to learn to play against it?
Uh, they're definitely gonna have to learn because they're playing how we started out playing during the ignition series,
Hmm.
brute forcing the sides, being insanely aggressive, just taking lots of fights and using abilities to just flush people out. Um, that's how we started out playing, and that's how we were so familiar with the style. But we had to learn how to slow down the pacing of the rounds, change up, like the pace
Hmm.
of like brute forcing in and now defaulting and causing a rotation and waiting for their adjustments and then sniffing out like their stack, trying to adjust and then hitting the other side. You they have the first step down, and now they need to learn how to adapt and evolve. And I'm sure they're fully capable of it. They're a really talented team.
Got it. Okay. Now, on Twitter after the match, you mentioned that your team has the strongest mental out of any team right now. Is that referring to their ability to outsmart opponents, or just kind of keep their cool in stressful situations, or what's I guess, the thought behind that?
It's everything. Largely like us facing unfortunate situations before tournaments and still
Hmm.
finding a way to run through the bracket. But also we just keep a level head during the games. We just talk really analytically about what they're doing and how we're gonna counter it. And it's like playing a puzzle and solving the puzzle. It feels like almost, and we're just really good at it. I've never gone into a match or been in a match and felt like we were gonna lose it. It felt like we were always in control.
Got it. Okay. Now, you have made the grand finals of Masters 1. Entering this tournament with TenZ as a pickup, did you expect to make it this far?
I knew it was possible because he was the best possible replacement we could have gotten.
Hmm.
He's an extremely talented player. He's versatile. It's just he would be the best choice to plug right into the things we needed. Obviously, I had to pick up Sova on some maps and stuff, but I just knew if we could take advantage of the little time that we did have,
Hmm.
we could make it work. And I'm just happy that hard work is paying off.
Got it. Okay. Now, as the in-game leader, you already mentioned adapting to FaZe style, preparing by reviewing footage, things like that. Was it tough to combine that with the new player on your team and switch to a new role, as you said, Sova?
It's definitely not comfortable, I guess. Just jumping onto a new role and plugging in a new player. But a lot of credit goes to TenZ too, just being so talented and so easy to work with. He's just a wonderful player. Um, usually you have star players that sometimes might be a little difficult,
Hmm.
but TenZ has been a great teammate this whole time through. And he's just picked up on everything we do so well.
Okay. Now, speaking of Tins and his future with the team, do you have any insight to that? Because at this point, this dude's insane, and I feel like Sentinels would dish out any amount of money to keep him on that roster going forward.
There's no plans set for the future right now. We're entirely focused on this Masters tournament and trying to get the win here. Um, the points are crucial for qualifying for champions.
Hmm.
So like we really haven't planned out for the future. We'll have a little bit of time to figure things out. Obviously things are going really well right now, and we'll see what the future holds.
Got it. Okay. Now, last question for the grand finals. What's your prediction for the team making it there, and who would you like to face the most?
Envy seems to have played really well today when I
Mhm.
watched them. I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the finals. But I think it would be more exciting to play FaZe again. I love those guys. I think they're a
Mhm.
talented team, and it's always a fun match for them. So I'm gonna be rooting for them and hoping to see them in the finals again.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, ShahZaM, for your time today. Always a pleasure. Best of luck going forward.
Dude, thanks, man. Thanks.